all, and welcome back to another thrilling episode of Off the Dome. I'm your humble interviewer, Jordan Brown, and with me for the very first time is our Vivacious Violet. Say hi, Vivacious Violet.
Hello. Is that,
Katie,
I don't know if that was vivaciously, but...
It was perfect.
Okay.
It's the energy that Violet brings,
Yes.
which is obviously what we're here to talk about. We have, but so many things, so many important things to talk about. Very specifically, I would like to know the odds that I'm going to be able to share this and it actually works. How much money have you made off of Venmo from strangers?
God. I have no idea. I would have to. Okay, so the vast majority of people sent like 69 cents or like
perfect joke. Yeah.
42 cents or like something like that, like a humorous amount. So I got a lot of I got like 100, just a single penny, and then a lot of people sent like $1, and then a lot of people have been requesting money, and I am just saying, no, listen, I will not send money back because I need money. So it has been a weird amount of money. I'm not exactly sure. I would have to go through literally hundreds of Venmo transactions to figure that out.
So amazing. I just wanted to put this up on the screen so that people have the opportunity to send you more money on Venmo.
And actually, that's a great idea. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I remember when that happened, and I saw the Reddit post was like, "Is that really Katie's Venmo QR code?" And people were like, "I sent her $1, so I think so."
It is me. Some would say that was stupid, and maybe it was, but it's too late now.
Too late. Hey, if you haven't gotten banned from Venmo, then I think you're fine at this point.
I think so, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I got banned from Venmo once. It was, they wouldn't tell me why. And so then I got, absolute mystery to me. I also got banned from PayPal at the same time because PayPal owns Venmo. And I didn't use PayPal at all. So I was like, well, this is just retaliatory. I didn't do anything here.
That's weird. I'm so curious. And then you got unbanned?
No, then I got a new checking account and I just lied and got back on.
Wow. Weird.
Not for Venmo. I got a new checking account and then I was like, hey, I bet they don't know this number. And they didn't, so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I went from the Jordan Brown on Venmo to not the Jordan Brown because I thought I'd trick him.
That's really smart. Honestly, they're never going to know, which is great. It's too big a company.
Well, I'm so excited to talk to you about so many things. Like I said, I am also like you are in. You said your childhood bedroom.
Yes, unfortunately,
you have been. Yeah,
I've been grounded. My mom caught me last night falling asleep, and I sort of had middle fingers up, and she grounded me. So now I'm stuck here in my childhood bedroom. Usually I have an office, but I can't leave my childhood bedroom, so this is where we're doing this. I'm sorry.
It is what it is, but...
It is what it is. It's hard. It's parents, you can't please them. They're so difficult.
You would think that your mom would know that you are the funniest person in LA and that you're allowed to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't even know how to respond to that. Thank you.
Well, I mean, you have a full billboard that confirms that. So it has to be true.
That's true. I am the funniest person in LA.
Yeah.
So she should know. She should get over it. She should get over herself, quite frankly. I mean, everybody please write in the comments. Tell my mom to go fuck herself. Am I allowed to swear? Is that okay?
Yes, you are.
Okay, good.
Oh man, I want to ask so many game changer questions. Obviously, we can't get into the part 2 of the finale because it hasn't aired yet.
No.
Although it does feel like we probably have a pretty good guess of some level of the outcome based on the funniest person in LA. But who's to say? I also think it is not out of the realm of possibility that Jess or Brennan would buy you a billboard because it would be funny. So
Yes.
I don't know.
Who's to say what actually happens?
Yes. 2 weeks from now, a week and a half. I don't know when I'm going to post this. At some point, you'll get to see what happens. But other Game Changer episodes besides Venmo, Bingo. What was that like to film? Because was it you like on set just being like, this game is weird and doesn't seem that funny?
Yes.
I don't understand.
That, like, truly, I cannot describe the experience of being on that set, because you go into Game Changer as a performer and you know something is going to happen. Like, there's always a twist. Like, you're doing weird things and you don't know why, and your brain is just going, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? But usually you can kind of figure it out like pretty quickly, right? Like, you're like, okay, they're testing my like heart rate or whatever. This time I was so confused. I was confused the entire time. I was saying, these are the easiest prompts. Like, I don't feel like I'm being that challenged, and I cannot figure out what is happening. And usually I can figure it out, and sometimes I'll like, I'm still trying to play the game and not be like, ruin it, oh, I know what we're doing. But I truly was like completely in the dark. I had no idea what we were doing. And then all of a sudden when Sam goes, like, the winner of Bingo is here, and like they come out, it blew my mind. And then when the next group came out, I was like, wait, so now I'm confused again. So it blew my mind. It was such a good episode. It was honestly my favorite episode we have ever done. And I think like they spent so long, they knew us so well. And I actually remember at Raphael's wedding, Sam had been like, I remember him getting us on. It was me, Reika, and Sam at a table, and we were talking about like things that Katie does or things that Reika does. And I was like, oh, that's a fun conversation. Yeah, I think I kind of do stuff like this. And like, I have the weird hands, like I go like this in every episode. And then it clicked afterwards. I was like, Sam was like asking us what, like, we were fully giving him all the information he needed to like, to do that. But it was such a good episode. It was so fun. Truly my favorite episode ever.
Yeah, it's such a great episode. Also, probably really fun for you because you get to watch back and and discover the game that is being played. Of just like, oh, here's everything I didn't get to see. Because I know, like I talked to Vic about, like Sam Says 3. They just fully blacked out for the entire experience. They have no memory of what happens. Like, watching is like getting to see it for the first time. But for this, literally, like, you couldn't have known what was happening behind the scenes.
There was no way. And I remember, so the dog one where it was, Lily had me write like, my dog is sick, something like that. And I remember being like, does Sam think like this is hard for me? Like, does Sam think this is a challenge? Like, I am crazy. I will do anything. So I was like, in the episode, you can see me acting, being like, I don't know if I can do this one, Sam. But it was literally just acting. So I was like, 100% I'm going to do anything he asks me to do. So it was funny. I had no idea it was Lily.
Yeah. Yeah. Such a good episode. One of my favorite parts of that episode is what we learned after that Grant was supposed to be in Brennan's spot, because I think you can see it on Brennan's face at the end of just like the fact that Trap won the second room, with an hour's notice of, hey, we're doing Brennan instead of Grant, and they made like a new bingo card for Brennan instead. Just like that mental break of, I'm so predictable, someone won with an hour of prep work on me. Is so good.
Yes, so predictable. We're all playing, well, we're all ourselves, which is honestly why it works so well, because it's just like maybe a slightly heightened version of ourselves, like, because we're actors, we're performing, but like it is genuinely, that's how I am on Game Changer. That's how Brennan is like, it's like more a performance version of Katie, but like it's still very much so me. So I was like, dang, they just like really know me. I've been there for so long, of course they know me.
I know it's it makes and also makes things like Thousand Airs make so much sense in terms of a concept of like, I'm going to delight my friends with the $1,000 that I get to spend on them because I know my friends so well and I know what's going to like really tickle them.
Yes.
And it's such a brilliant use that Dropout has like made not just community for like folks like me who are watching and fans, but also folks like you, the performers, of like, oh, we want you to be friends because there is a bigger reward if, you know, Dirty Laundry is personal when people are telling stories, or like Thousand Airs is like people really enjoying each other when Sam buys you a goth makeover. You know, like what a delight those things get to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. I will say I have a Patreon where I like post interviews that I'm coming up and ask people if they have any questions. The number of people that asked me if I would ask you when we're getting another season of Rank Room. My goodness, people love Rank Room so much. And I agree, but I was surprised after several years out of just like people still being like, no, but really, when are we getting more Rank Room? So this one, there's not really a question here because I'm sure you don't have an answer for that. But just like,
I know,
come on.
I so wish like that genuinely, like I had the Rank Room, I had Kingpin Katie, like those two were my babies. And I would love to do the Rank Room, especially because it was such a fun format. I'm not sure exactly like why. I think it just didn't get the numbers, and like, you know, it's a business. We can't just do things because we like them. But I would so love to do that. And I've actually always been, I mean, I've had a lot of like family sadness in the last 2 years, so I haven't really been doing as many like live shows. And so it has always been kind of like a dream of mine to do the Rank Room as a live show at either like the Elysian in LA or even Dynasty Typewriter. Like, I think it'd be a really fun format on stage. So I have to just think about that. And Sam, I've already talked to Sam about this. Yeah. We should do that.
I was gonna say, like, that sounds like a perfect like
right?
season 2 Dropout Presents. Like, even if it's not a full season, like get one episode on stage at the Elysian and like perfect Dropout Presents material. Come on, Sam.
That's such
I know
a
you
good
watch
idea.
these.
Sam, if you're listening, baby, the Rank Room for Dropout Presents. Actually, that is brilliant, and I hadn't thought about that, and you're so right. We should absolutely do that.
I would be happy with another season of the Rank Room, but I think you're right. It's such a fun show and would be so interactive and fun live that it would be a lot of fun to see it in a Dropout Presents format.
And you could do something where like it's like the 4 comedians, me and like 3 others, and then like someone from the audience gets a chance to like join. Like, I love that kind of thing where it's like you get to play because you're brilliant. The audience is brilliant, and like come up and I mean, I think that's such a good idea. I'm gonna text Sam about that.
Perfect. You can tell him you can tell him that I came up with it. Just don't spell my name right because he will not know who you're talking about. That's like one of my favorite like Dropout memories. I don't know. So I hosted the panel at PAX East for actually with Iffy and BDG. And Iffy and I were working on the presentation beforehand, and he was texting with Sam, and he was like, I think he sent Sam a picture of the two of us, and because I've interviewed Sam for this show. I don't know what this is. And Sam was like, oh, tell Jordan I said hi, and spelled my name wrong. And I had already told Iffy that Sam's never spelled my name wrong. And Iffy wrote back, actually, and then spelled my name correctly with a big O at the second spot. And I was like, incredible.
I love that.
I don't think he's going to spell it correctly in the future, but I love this moment right now.
I love that. That's cute. I mean, to be fair, I said I have always called Game Changer Game Changers, and then it was during an episode where Sam was like, there is no S, Katie. But that's like a Chicago thing. Like everyone in Chicago adds S's to the end of every word. Like that's just what we do.
Yeah. It's Game Changers. It's gonna go be on Game Changers. And, have a good time. It just makes sense to me.
Oh no, am I frozen?
Well,
am I frozen?
A little bit, but it's fine.
Okay.
You're good now.
Okay, good.
On the plus side, because it's Riverside, it's recording locally. So after this, you won't be frozen at all.
Okay, good.
And we'll just be talking over each other, and that's the best parts of these interviews. Is when we're just like, you're frozen, but for the audience, not at all.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your babies,
Oh.
better breakfast, waffle or eggs?
What was the first one?
Waffle, as in the short film you made.
Okay, wait. It cut out slightly when you said them, so can you just say it all again? I'm so sorry.
Yes. Better breakfast, waffle or eggs?
Eggs. Sorry. Eggs.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Eggs.
Yeah.
I gotta go eggs.
That's fair.
I'm in my egg era. Is that what the young
Waffles
people say?
are what, like 2-3 years ago for you?
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's all about. I had no idea that I was so breakfast focused in my career until this moment. Wild.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you were having waffles late at night as a snack to soak up the booze in waffles. So, absolutely
Yes.
delightful short film, by the way. Like,
Thank you.
So upsetting and so funny and so upsetting. As particularly the post credits isn't the right word, but during the credits art project, deeply upsetting.
Ooh. Thank you so much. I love horror comedy. That's my passion. So that was the perfect thing. We actually I wrote that with my friend Carrie, and we like made it into a feature, and we're trying to figure out. I don't know what happens after you write a thing and then you're just done with it and you're like, now what? Where does this go? Who looks at this? Trying to figure that out.
Entirely fair. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that either.
No.
You send it to Sam and tell him. I don't know. Just that's my only guess for any of this.
He'd be like, "We don't do features. Why did you send me this?" But actually, I should probably ask him.
Ask Allie and Grant, and just be like, "Hey, how did your movie work?" And then follow that model because it got made. So
that's a very good point.
Obviously, you know that because you're in it. But yeah, one of the things that I really loved about Waffle is Carrie says he's calling for Raphael. And I was like, God, I hope it's Raph that shows up. And of course it is. But I was just like, I want it to be him. And then like the second reveal of just like, oh, sorry, you're out of time. It's just so good.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Raphael is in it because literally Carrie and I were working on it at a diner. And we were like, well, who's going to be the boyfriend? Raphael walked out of the bathroom of the diner right after we said that because he was sitting outside with his friends. It was wild. I was like, well, Raphael has to be in it now. And he was great. Yeah. He's perfect. I love Raphael.
He's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like when he first shows up, I'm like, he doesn't seem as concerned as he should be. And I know Raph is he's a better actor than this. And I'm like, oh, yes. I got it. This is part of the performance. Like very good.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. I do have a Ratfish question. I'm trying to decipher my own notes because they are indecipherable. It's just like wildly scribbled notes to myself where I've written the words Ratfish surprised your adult brother, and then I couldn't read I was like, oh, it was about Grant. That your adult brother didn't like figure out who you were right away. I was like, one of the things that I love about your strategy and like your gamemanship in Ratfish, and if you do win, well deserved. Because like I love those clips of you saying like, no, that's what Katie would do. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go first because that's what Katie would do. Like so smart and shrewd. And at least in that first episode, like just no idea. People wildly wrong about who was your nightmare of a character.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I do think it's interesting. You and Grant were like, choose like larger than life characters, and you both went asshole man. Just like a perfect larger than life character.
Yeah, that's so funny. I really put so much like mental effort into the character. Like I left set that day exhausted. Like I put everything on the table, like every little bit of brain power that I had, I used for that character. And it was really hard because I feel like my voice, I have, you know, I'm sort of known for being chaotic and I'm very silly, very goofy. And so I was like, okay, so that's the response I want to make, but now I have to like shove that down because everyone is going to know it's you if you say that. And then like, okay, so now I was doing so much thinking, it was so difficult. So I left exhausted. I was so tired. It was as if I had just run a marathon. It was so much work. But
Yeah.
fun, very fun.
I love everyone besides Brennan's strategy was, I'm going to make someone to throw off who this could possibly be. And Brennan's strategy was, I'm going to make everyone think I'm Reika. Like,
yes.
It's such a smart and but very different strategy, and I really enjoyed that. Of course, Brennan had some like weird like game within a game that he had to do.
Absolutely.
I'll say one of the things that I loved, each room seemed to be very specifically designed for the person in it. Like, what were did you notice any touches in your room that you're like, oh, like props really thought like this room's for Katie, we're making a Katie room?
Yeah, I think just it was like very whimsical and colorful and kind of wild, and like that felt very true to me. Like I so I wish that after we shot it, I went into all the rooms. I went into just Reika and I like went through the just our three rooms, and like art is so good. Like Dropout has the best art people, and I wish that I had seen all of them in person because they are so beautiful. When I watched the first episode, I was like, this is amazing. I would love to have all of them like come and do my house. I don't have a house, my apartment. But I would like love to have them do it. It was so cool, and everyone's felt very specific. Yeah, mine was very whimsical. Jess was like almost like country, like hippie kind of a thing. And then Reika's, of course, like all the desserty things and just sweetness. And then like, yeah, it was just like so good. They killed it. They did such an amazing job.
Yeah, everyone felt like I noticed someone was online was talking about how Brennan's room, like everyone else had like big lush couches, and Brennan had this like half a bench, and people were like, "That's what Brennan wants. He doesn't want to relax. He wants to be on edge and have a giant platter of snacks in front of him, and that is what they provided for him." Like,
I love it. The first time we see Brennan, he's like eating something. I was like, Brennan is being Brennan in the best way. I love Brennan. I love it so much.
So good. Yeah, I'm assuming it must have filmed before Smarty Pants, because no one had guessed that Jess was the wrestler, even though Jess obviously has a deep love of wrestling.
Yes. I was thinking about that as well, because I was like, it was so obvious that it was Jess, not because like just because of the wrestling thing, not because the character, she did that brilliantly, but the if I think that now if we had filmed it after that, I would have been like, Jess wrestling, obviously. But no, it was great. Yeah, so it must have shot beforehand. Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of Smarty Pants, eggs. I mean, such an incredible presentation. Truly, I loved the show from like the moment it started, but your presentation was on such another level of silliness, which I deeply appreciate.
Wait, can I tell you?
Yes,
can I
tell
tell
me
you?
anything
Okay,
about it.
I did not know that it was okay. So I told Clayton, or we just did a variety interview, and I told the story of how I knew I was going to be a comedian. Yeah. And it was just basically I was going to go into finance, and then I during an interview someone was like, "You are a very strange person," and then I was like, "Okay, this is not the world for me." That happened again after the egg presentation, because I thought that I had done a lot of research. I know someone in the comments was like, "This seems like she just pulled this together," and I was like, "Ouch! No, I hadn't. Like, I had actually done a lot of work."
That person. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Because I was like, I put a lot of effort into this. Like, I am a type A person, and I like researched everything, double checked everything, like I had citations. And then when I did the presentation, I literally thought I was being so normal. Like I thought I was just giving facts and like having a couple of little moments of silliness, but mostly I was like giving these people information. And then afterwards, Sam came up to me and he was laughing, and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "That was wild." And I was like, "What are you talking about, Sam? That was literally normal. Like I wasn't funny. Everyone else is gonna like be so hilarious. Like nothing that I did was funny. It was just facts." And then I watched what I did and I was like, "No, that was insane. That was absolutely wild."
And they
Yeah,
cut out the part where you restarted your presentation.
they did.
Which,
They cut out so much.
yeah, which
Yeah.
is like extra wild behavior to be like, no, you weren't listening. I'm starting over.
I think it was like 45 minutes where I was just talking, and it was so bad. We were supposed to do like 10 minutes, and it was so bad. And then the director was like, "We had to figure out how to cut yours, if I could like cut yours down, because you talked for so long." Terrible.
Oh, that's so good. I will say, I'm so nervous my butt cheeks are shaking has now entered my vernacular. So thank you for that.
It's true.
It was very good. Yeah. What was the process when I'm assuming like Paul and folks like came to you to be like, hey, what presentation would you like to do?
Yes.
How did you decide on eggs? And
Yes.
just what happened, Katie?
I had a few. Okay, so I remember I had a few different topics. They were all food related, I think. And actually, there was one about. I wish I remembered. There was one about Shakespeare. I don't know. I think I was trying to sound
like,
smart.
Go for Ross on that one.
I'm so like not well read. But I I think eggs was the one that they were like, this is like the most not, because they want everyone to have a very different topic. They don't want people talking about the same exact thing. So I think eggs was like was maybe my first choice, and they were like, definitely do eggs, because that's not like and no one else is talking about eggs, obviously. So do eggs. But I wonder how I got on that. I think at the time I was going egg heavy with my diet. I have since kind of pulled back on eggs a bit more.
I was going to ask, how many eggs have you eaten today?
No eggs today. I've been getting into steel cut oatmeal, the instant packs, and then I'll add some sort of berry into it with some milk. If you're curious, that's kind of my new breakfast.
I am, yes.
Okay,
was how to hard boil an egg your game changer Google search related to your Smarty Pants presentation, or just coincidence? Perfect.
Just coincidence. Yeah, you know what though? Because that would have been
many people were like, she was researching for Smarty Pants.
No, I was not. It was that would have been around the time when I was like thinking of no, this would have been before we even talked about like the topics, but it would have been that I would say that was during my egg phase. So so it's just eggs were on the mind during that period.
Yeah. So good. This is going to be the greasiest transition. Speaking of eggs and coming out of your shell, Violet Mitcherton, huh? That's a transition, wasn't it?
Perfect.
Oh man, Violet, absolutely. Moment one. Well, first of all, so I've listened to the pilot. First of all, our internet went out for like a day and a half, and so I had downloaded the podcast and I was listening to the pilot, and it's the vicar and Davis, is that his name? Yes.
Davis.
The vicar and Davis are like walking along, and you are in a ditch moaning, and I have my headphones in, and I'm like, what is that noise? And I'm like, I can't forget, because like our TV's not on because we don't have internet. So like, I was like, there can't be other noise in here with me. Like, where is this coming from? And I was like, oh my God, it's in the show. And I got to talk to Brian already about it. But yeah, walk me through the choice of Violet. We can talk about character in a second, but Violet in a ditch for her introduction.
Yes. I think that they asked me. So, okay, so it is fully improvised, but you'll kind of, before we get into it, we'll be like, okay, so roughly what's going to happen? Like, we're going to come up, someone warns us to run to the house, or like, we'll have kind of the basic outline of it, and then we just actually improvise. So I'm pretty sure they were like, well, how do we get Violet? Like, how is Violet going to appear? And then I was like, oh, just in a ditch. Like, I'll just be in a ditch. And my only like character decision before that, or like when we first started like talking about this, I was like, it would be so fun to put like a Cousin George type character from Succession into this world, because he's kind of like a fish out of water, right? Like, he's not used to like being around super wealthy people who are like doing actual business, like at least that the in the pilot episode of Succession. So I was like, well, that's so fun. And also I love playing either really high status characters or really low status characters, and a lot of the people in a lot of the other characters were already going to be maybe higher status or like somewhere in between. And so I was like, oh, I want to be like low status.
Can't get much lower than a ditch.
No, you really can't. It's true.
I also like, as you started and you're like, I'm from Bath, I had to look up. I was like, is there a different Bath than the one in England? And there's not. A bold choice to not do any accent.
Yes.
A funnier choice, I think, but a very bold choice.
Yes. I wanted to do that. Okay, so if I do an accent, like when I was Gangy Green, for Mice and Murder for Dimension 20.
One of the best seasons of Dimension 20. Absolutely an incredible season. You were so fantastic in it. Love to see Gangy hit.
I want to go back. Like, I want to do more. I just want to keep doing it. I love that character so much. But so a lot of my effort was, I realized, well, anytime I do an accent, like, there's this thing, you don't want to be offensive, and then also like you're putting so much effort into doing the accent. And I thought that I could maybe play the character a little bit harder if I was doing almost like a Cousin George type of a, accent. So just kind of like my way of talking, but like a little bit slower and maybe taking longer to process things. And, so it was like a conscious decision, because I was like, I could do like a bad accent, but I'd rather not be offensive. Then I'd rather also just like really go hard on this character. And it ended up being fine, because like not everyone, some people are going hard, like Carolyn Page, like going hard on that accent, which is so good. She's so talented with that old British accent. And then yeah, it was like me and then Cassie is so good with the accent as well, like the British accent, and like haughty, like kind of like wealthy Regency accent. And then I was just like, there's a couple of us just not doing it, which is good. I wasn't the only one.
Do you want me to tell you that it's Cousin Greg and not Cousin George, or do you want to live in a world where it's Cousin George?
Did I say Cousin George?
Twice, actually.
Wait, that is terrible. I meant Cousin Greg. Also, I just did a different interview, and I probably said Cousin George. I don't know why I have Cousin George on the brain. Absolutely, I meant Cousin Greg.
I know. Now going for future interviews, you can go Greg.
No. Yeah, we'll see what I do. I probably won't do it right, but
it's fine.
Cousin Greg, that's what I meant.
There's only one cousin in Succession, so like it's fine.
Yes, Cousin Greg. My goodness. Oh my god, I am so bad.
One of the things that I love about Violet, we can just move past it, is
should I just should I just start over?
Yeah,
I'll start
the
over.
Whole thing
Listen,
over.
start it.
One of the things that I like, so you on Breaking News obviously famously don't laugh,
yes.
Which I don't feel like is a trait of you normally, that you aren't like particularly difficult laugh to get. but it is still delightful to hear, like, when, like, listening to Bitcherton, like, you laugh quite a bit, and it's really fun to hear. And I'm like, oh, Katie's laughing, it must be really funny, because like in my head I'm like, Katie's such a hard laugh, but no. I don't think you are.
No.
So where do you go in breaking news? Like, what recesses of your brain happens that, like, you turn that off?
Yes. I think that, okay, so on breaking news, as with all shoots, like, the performers are there, we're reading off a teleprompter. Behind the teleprompter, there's like 30 to 60, there's so many people behind the teleprompter. And so there's that where it's just like, not like, I don't know, it's like easier for me to like just be reading and trying to process. And then also like there's so many people. So it just makes me get into a place where like I'm just like not gonna laugh. And then I also think part of it is like I am such a good student. I'm such a good girl, like so well behaved that I if they're like, this is breaking news, like no laughing, then I'm like, okay, no laughing. Everyone else should be professionals like me. So I think there's, I don't know exactly though, because I feel like that might be it, but I don't know exactly. I'm not. I never really know.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you're the anti Amy Vorpal of just like,
yes,
the one
and they
who
won't.
Can't stop. Yeah.
They got to put us together. They won't put us together because it'd be too powerful. But they but we should also, it would just be so
Grant
fun on set.
Coward and won't put you together.
Yes, Grant.
Yeah. I one of the things I got to talk to Brian about, back to Violet, is a thing that I certainly hope gets released because it's cut from the pilot of Violet's bad drawings. Oh man, it's so funny just to hear it described, and I'm so upset that I haven't heard it like actually acted out yet. But since it's not in the pilot, can you walk me through Violet's bad drawings?
Oh no, I don't.
Do you remember it at all?
Wait, can you tell? What did Brian say about it?
Violet had a sketchbook. And she'd be like, this is a lion. And then Brian would say, have you ever seen a lion? And be like, no. And apparently that bit kept running of like, then you'd be like, oh, this is a horse. And they're like, it looks a lot like a lion. Your lion, like apparently like every drawing then just looked the same because you hadn't seen any of the animals.
I love that. So I feel like I did a bunch of little bits, and the one that got into the pilot was the arm wrestling, right?
Yeah.
God, so I was like,
yeah, the oldest and youngest person you've beaten in arm wrestling, perfect bit.
I feel like I just like throw things at a wall when I'm like improvise. I'm like, one of these things will stick, and then that is what ends up happening. But and then the rest of the things I'm like, well, they could work or they couldn't. I'm glad that Brian chose to go with the arm wrestling, because you don't want too many bits happening at once for one character, I think. But yeah, I like the drawing thing, and it feels true to the character. Almost she's a bit of a she's kind of like a child, where she's just like doing little things and hoping that people are impressed with her. And I feel like the drawings are like one of those things. The arm wrestling thing is definitely one of those things as well. Just like yeah, I don't know. I think of my niece being like, look what I can do, and then she does almost nothing, and we're like, incredible.
Yeah, I have my son is about to turn 3, and today he showed me the thing he could do, which he put a blanket on himself, and then he jumped off the couch onto a pillow, and I was like, "Yeah, bud, you nailed it! Like, very impressive." Yeah, and like called me down the hall so I could come see him do that.
Oh, that's so cute! I love that.
Yeah.
But yes, that's Violet. Yeah. That is like Violet. That's the same energy that Violet brings.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. I know, I'm going to guess you don't know all of the Patreon, or excuse me, Kickstarter rewards that are like coming out, which is fine because Brian laid all of them out for me.
Okay,
So I've
good.
got all of them somewhere recorded. I don't remember any of them,
Yay.
other than Brian did say that if you all get $1 million, he's going to make you turn this into a TV show, just so you know that is his plan.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
I don't know what the odds are that a Kickstarter gets $1 million. I feel like not great, but I mean, that's a solid reward.
Yeah.
I want to see Iffy and Brian play father and son very badly
Oh my
in
God. Yeah.
visual format.
I would love
People who
that.
could not look less similar.
And
Yeah,
are the same age, basically.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Kickstarter is starting, I believe, June 13th. And basically, the idea is that Kickstarter will fund 10 episodes. Every episode will have a guest star. Obviously, the pilot had sort of the most like plot structure just to set up the season of like Bitterton's patriarch is dead. Violet has shown up as the like potential heir to the like estate, and therefore has to be kept a secret. And meanwhile, Esty is the old maid of going, I believe, about to turn 24, and so like
Yes.
she just venture off into spinsterdom. Such a good. Oh my god, Alex reading the will is so funny, and I can't wait to talk to them about it.
Yes.
Just so good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and obviously Patience as the matriarch, and Gwendolyn entering the debutante is not the right word for it, but that season. And then each episode I know is going to have like guest cast come in to like drive the plot of an episode. I know who's there, but we're not revealing it yet.
Okay, good to know.
I'm sure you know who is also coming. How excited are you? Because obviously, like, I'm here because it's tangentially Dropout related because there's so many Dropout people in it, and that guest list also very Dropout heavy. How excited are you for the potential to live more in this world, get to play with those guest stars, get to play more as Violet?
I can't wait. I love improvising with Dropout people, and the guests we have coming on, I'm extremely excited about. They're all very close friends, and there's like nothing I'd rather do than improvise with friends, truly.
Yeah. And I mean, already like a bunch of friends in the form of your other castmates as well.
I already love, I mean, everyone has been so funny. It's my first time improvising with some of them, and I also really love improvising with new people who are just so good, so talented. And it's like easy. It's so easy, everyone's supporting everyone else. That's the whole key to this, is like, I'm trying to make you look good, you're trying to make me look good, and in the process we're all looking good. It's great. So much fun.
It all like fires on all cylinders so quickly in the episode. Of just like the introduction to the entire idea. I love that, like, we get the reveal at the end of, I've already forgotten her name, the gossip girl of it all.
Yes.
But that, like, we get this isn't going to be like a drawn out gossip girl situation of just like, yep, now we get the added benefit of who's in the room with this person at any given point, because like those secrets might spill out into the tabloids, is all so fun. Have you given any thought to like where you want Violet to go, or are you just fully expecting like, we'll do it on the day kind of thing, or do you have thoughts of like where Violet is going with this?
Yeah, I always love I love character arcs. I love things paying off really nicely. So I would love for Violet to get some happiness. And maybe find someone, and maybe discover a hobby that she's actually good at. I would love for something good to happen to her. That's always the case when I'm playing a low status character. When I'm playing a high status character, that's not always true. But for Violet, I really do want her to be happy in the end. Get some respect, maybe.
What was the happiness goal for Gangi Green then? What
Oh,
was
fully got a family.
yeah.
And that, yeah, it was, this Gangi was such a loner. Started as an orphan and really found family in the end. And for me, that was like beautiful. That was perfect. That was exactly what I wanted. So, yeah.
That's I know I mentioned it already. I love Mice and Murder so much of like that because it was obviously a difficult time. Everything's shooting remotely, but like such a brilliant use of remote shooting to be like, oh,
Yeah.
we're going to include text messages to like unravel the mystery that
Mm-hmm.
some people are getting and some people aren't. Made it a thing because it's so cool for that season that it wouldn't work the same in the dome in the same way that it worked remotely. Like you would have had to make a setup where like you have literally like a screen in front of you that has like blinders so no one else can see it and you get a message only. Like it just wouldn't work the same. So it was so smart and became such a, I think, fantastic season. And
Thank
obviously
you.
underrated season because people
Yes.
struggle to go back and watch COVID content. And I
I
understand,
know.
but like go back and watch Mice and Murder. It's so
Truly,
good.
go back and watch it. It was a great season, and we loved doing it. And it was yeah, it was wonderful. I truly would love to do something like that again. And then I would also love for people to watch the original season. So, see it. Go see it.
Go see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously today we got the new trailer for Never Stop Blowing Up. So like Dimension 20 is chugging along.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I love, and like obviously like Mice and Murder plays so much into this, is how much Dimension 20 plays with genre. Very specifically, like we're gonna have like a whole like obviously today we got Never Stop Blowing Up, a whole 80s 90s action extravaganza silliness, and looks like so much fun. And then like we get the like, well, what about the anthropomorphic animal mystery, like the Sherlock Holmes but is a rabbit,
Yes.
like so brilliant and so fun. If you were pitching a Dimension 20 season, do you have one like I have a genre I want to go play in?
Yes.
Or is it just throw me at the table, whatever, I'll do it?
No, I have one.
Okay.
I would love to be like old-timey circus performers. And some
so
sort
good.
of mystery. Yes, I would love to do this. And like some sort of I do genuinely love like the murder mystery genre. So like I would love to do something like with that again. And yeah, I mean, it gives everyone an opportunity to be a really fun character, and yeah, it would be so fun.
I mean, it'd be so fun. Instantly, my brain is like the projections of the circus tent, like it all like it's such a specific visual that like you could really lean into. It would be delightful.
Yes.
Oh, well, now that's all I want. Brennan, you won't be watching this.
Brennan,
you don't want. Yeah.
No.
Get it together. Shawbuck, you might see this. Do it.
Yes.
This is this is so much fun. All of this is so much fun. I know you mentioned we're just jumping around because like there was a point where I was like, we have to talk about Bitcherton, or I will have wasted Katie's time.
No, it's not a waste.
Listen, she's so here specifically to promote. I'm
here to talk about anything you want to talk about, honestly.
Great. The heart monitor episode of Game Changer. What was the shooting that like? Like what was the like having knives not really thrown at you but thrown at you? Like how did that go?
That was a very weird day for me, I will say. So I remember it so distinctly, and this is sad and I apologize, but I'm still gonna tell it. So I remember I was driving to set, and okay, so my dad died a few weeks ago. He had cancer for 6 years, but then the last 2 were like terminal. But so it was when I was driving to that shoot that my mom called me, and then she did that thing that like all moms do apparently, which is like, how you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm doing great. I'm going to Game Changer. And she was like, Yeah, well, nothing too much going on, like, talking about nothing, and then as we were about to hang up, she was like, "Oh, by the way, your dad is dying." And so it was, yes, truly, it was like literally that day, and then I was like, "Okay, goodbye," and then I had to like shove it down, and then I went to Game Changer, the shoot, and it was like the the worst game for what I had just learned, because my
Right.
heart
Yeah.
rate was through the roof already. And then, so I have, for the last couple of years, since it aired, people have been messaging me and being like, "Hey, like, I know it was funny on the game, but actually it's a really serious thing that your heart rate was that high. And like, you should go see a doctor." And I was like, no, I know exactly why my heart rate was that high. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for the concern. But yeah, so I will never forget that tank. But I honestly think I did such a good job managing, like pushing that down, so healthy, pushing it down, and then being able to like have fun. I had a great time on that set still, but it was just the worst possible game to play after what I had just learned. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, boy. Yeah, that's the fact that you were funny at all. A miracle. Just
Yeah, thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, I talked to Izzy not that long ago, and obviously, like, she wrote a movie about like her father passing as well. My father passed when I was very young,
Really?
and yeah, suicide when I was a year and a half old.
Oof, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
rough.
it is. But yeah, it's always like I remember like having obviously not similar experience to you, but like having like those moments where like something spiked it, like in grade school, like we would read a story about a dad, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, my heart rate is like a million, because like
Yes.
I don't know how to process this. I can't imagine what it would be like of like, oh, I need to try and process this deep trauma on a comedy set, and someone is monitoring my heart rate.
It was literally like I walked out the door and then I was shoved onto the set where they were just doing things to make me anxious. Like, it was so, the
Yeah,
timing was comical. It was
yeah.
hilarious. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Like,
I feel
here's what
that.
you need to do to make me anxious in this moment. Literally nothing. I'm
Yeah.
there already. Like,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. 100%.
Uh, Um, well, I don't really know where to go after that.
Oh, that sad story I just told that brought the whole mood down. I'm sorry about that.
Fine, I asked, so it's on me.
I am honest.
I
I'm
I
too
should have known.
honest. You should have known. You should have been following me on
Yeah,
Instagram and known. But no, it's fine.
I do follow you on Instagram. I just didn't remember or didn't see it. Yeah.
No, it's weird. I have a problem. When I got married, like during the vows, my husband actually like talked about this. I have a problem where I can't, like, I have to be honest. I'm so honest. So if someone is like, "Hey, what's going on?" I will tell you exactly what is going on. And I just need to figure out, like, there's a time for that, and then there's a time to just be like, "I'm doing great." Like, and I can't figure it out yet. So yeah.
That's good. Also, then, probably made Ratfish even more difficult. That
Yes.
I need to actively lie. I guess at least at that you're playing a character and not
Yeah.
just I need to actively lie. At least I'm lying as another person.
Yes,
But yeah,
that's true.
um,
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
I'm so excited for more Bitcherton. So excited for or the Game Changer finale, and potentially find out. Well, I guess almost certainly find out why you have a billboard. But find
Yeah.
out like, maybe you just bought it for fun. Maybe
Maybe not.
Sam. Yeah, maybe you heard the prize and you're like, "That's actually a really good idea. I'm gonna buy one." Hey,
Yes.
one of my favorite things is that you've changed the voicemail from like the Michael Cera voicemail to the Eggs voicemail. Truly such a good bit. And I hope it
Yes,
changes again.
it will.
Great. I'm so glad.
I texted Sam and I was like, "I'm going to bring up my phone number every single time I am on a Dropout show from now on, and people will have to call it and see what the voicemail is.
So good. It's such a good bit. I love that so much. Katie, if obviously like folks have to go support Bridgerton the moment,
Yes.
like go pre-save it so you know when it launches, and then give all of your money that you have. If everything you didn't give to Katie in the Venmo that we showed at the beginning, give to Bridgerton so that we can get this going. Also, Brian said he would fly me out for the premiere. I think if it's $1 million, and I can sit front row. So that, let's make that happen.
I hope so. Good luck.
Yeah. But this is so stupid. So calling your phone number, Venmoing you. Where else can the people find you on the internet? What else are you up to that you would like to plug?
I'm at Katie Marovitch on everything: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. And I also host, and no, I don't host. I'm sorry, that was a lie. I direct, and then I'm the on-screen director and writer for Reality Check, which you can find on YouTube. It is for Fox, and we talk about all of their branded shows. It's super fun. And yeah, go check it out.
Amazing. Yeah, and if you follow Katie, you'll get to see why she was grounded. So good. Katie, thank you so much. This has been an absolute delight.
Thank you.
And I don't know how to end interviews, so I'm just going to hit stop recording.